Everyone has a favourite Battlefield campaign, and whilst most players buy Battlefield for the multiplayer, the single player story definitely provides a lot of entertainment. In this video I'm going to try and create a top 5 list with my personal favourite missions from across the franchise. Remember, this is my list, and some of the campaign missions are ones I personally enjoyed the most. Maybe you have a different list, so feel free to leave that down below in the comments. As I started playing Battlefield with Bad Company 2, that is where the missions will start, but for those that played earlier and consider themselves more of a veteran player, maybe you have some missions from the earlier games. So here we go, my top 5 Battlefield campaign missions. My favourite mission by far is the Battlefield 3 F-18 mission, Going Hunting. This is a mission that recently got a bit of attention with a real-life fighter pilot dissecting the realism and essentially calling it out for being not very realistic at all. I don't care though. When I played this mission for the first time, it was amazing. It looked superb, the audio was great, and the fact I got to fly in a jet, albeit mostly on rails, was so much fun. Sure, it could have done with a bit more freedom, but for a campaign mission, I thought it was fantastic. Trust me, if you have Battlefield 3 installed, go back and play this mission with the volume cranked up and the graphics on maximum. It will really put a smile on your face. At number 2, we have a more recent campaign mission from Battlefield 1. Battlefield 1 went for a war stories approach and did have quite a few really good single player stories. My favourite though was definitely the prologue, Storm of Steel. It was probably the best opening sequence to any FPS game I've played, and honestly I think it brought something fresh to the Battlefield franchise and really tried to almost educate the players that were going to embark on this Battlefield 1 World War I experience. It was dramatic and emotional. Sometimes even when you died, your character's name wasn't even known, it just came up as Unknown Soldier of the Great War, with the age of the soldier as well, which really reflected on the brutal nature of that war. You would see soldiers throwing down their weapons, some soldiers would just walk blindly into gunfire, other soldiers were clearly shell-shocked and not in control. Visually, it is unrivaled in my opinion. The atmosphere was unmatched and the audio, as usual, was exquisite. One of the most incredible missions that would definitely stick with me for a lot longer than anything else I've played in Battlefield. At number 3, we have a Battlefield 5 mission, The Last Tiger. It might not be the best game in the franchise, but Battlefield 5 was a World War II game and it would have been very difficult for DICE not to find some areas to excel in. The Last Tiger war story caught the attention of the Battlefield community as it aimed to give you a rare insight into the war from the German perspective. Visually it was epic, but it was the ideological questions posed throughout the mission that really made you think. What were they fighting for? What was the meaning of all this violence? Here's a snippet that really makes you think about the problems that each side had to deal with during the war.
War ein Verräter! Kills! Kills! Ich weiß, er war Ihr Freund, aber er ist desertiert. Gemeinsam sind wir stärker, richtig? Die Schwachen überleben nicht. Das waren doch Ihre Worte, oder? Sagen Sie es! War das nicht so? Just give up, damn it!
At number 4, I'm taking a look at Battlefield Bad Company 2. As I said during the intro of this video, it was the first Battlefield game that I played, and for that reason the entire campaign has stuck with me, as often one of the first FPS games that you played would do. Now, I did play games before that, but this was one of the first ones that I really got my teeth into and played from start to finish in one sitting. I have to say that my personal favourite mission was the second one in the game, Cold War. This one had a few basic tasks such as clear objectives, paint some targets for the air vehicles to bomb, and then sit on the back of a wagon pursuing enemy vehicles. Overall though, at the time when I first played it, the mission was just epic. The attack helicopter chase at the end was really satisfying, and I seem to remember I shot the heli out of the sky on one of the runs. Really cool. One of my favourite missions. Personally, you might have preferred some other ones in Bad Company 2, but this is the one that I remember the most. Finishing off the list, we have another Battlefield 3 campaign mission, Thunder Run. I love tanking in Battlefield, and it all really started here. You are taken on a journey as Jonathan Miller of the 1st Tank Battalion with the mission to cross the Kavir Desert in order to rescue Henry Blackburn's squad in Tehran. Along the way you meet enemy armour and infantry, and also have to navigate a minefield using a MAV to clear the way. The Thunder Run soundtrack is amazing, and as I love vehicles in Battlefield, this mission definitely has a special spot on the list. From the very intro where you look at the dinosaur, which relates to previous Battlefield campaigns, and then where you see the checkpoint Kilo location with the Highway of Death relating to the Persian Gulf War, it's just a really good mission, aesthetically and just quite fun to play. Now you might have noticed I do have a soft spot for these missions that are more like movies. You don't really have to do much, you kind of just take in the atmosphere, and the reason I enjoy that is because the single players for that and the multiplayers for having more freedom. That's just the way I think Battlefield does the single player plus the multiplayer experience. You might not agree with me, you might have a different list, so feel free to leave that down below in the comments. And yeah, hopefully you enjoyed. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next video.